What's up, people, things, objects, animals, chickens, ducks, rabbits, snakes, goats, you name it. Welcome to this week's edition of Monday Night Mayhem. I'm your host. My name is Captain JT. Tonight, it is just me and Zach on the ones and twos. Brett and Carson will be back with us next week, if not the week after. We got a lot of fun things to talk about today. Crimson Deseret came out last week, and while many people are calling it their game of the year, many people are calling it their dud of the year. Also, game key cards are back in the news, everybody. We're going to be talking a little bit about that, a little bit about things that we've been playing on this week's edition for Monday, March 23rd, 2026. So go ahead, grab those diet chips, diet kombucha, sodas, whatever you need. Strap into those ergonomic gaming chairs and get ready to go meet pixels and possibilities on your favorite weekly gaming podcasts, coming to you directly on YouTube, around the world, and in the universe. So, without further ado, this is Monday Night Mayhem, where things, pixels, and video game controllers meet possibilities. Zach, my dude, how the heck are you? The intro is kind of fucked up because I'm playing Deadzone Rogue right now. And
oh yeah, we were talking about this. Yeah, what do you think? You got to give me the rundown. Otherwise, I'm doing pretty good, dude. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. Well, other things that are doing pretty good is this game. I'm having a blast playing this. Never knew that I would actually take to a rogue shooter the way that I have, but it's keeping me distracted from playing Monster Hunter Stories 3 for sure, because I'm like, oh man, I love Monster Hunter Stories 3, but I really want to go do some runs in Deadzone Rogue and just see what happens. And the fact that it has multiplayer makes it, I would say, a little bit better, a little bit easier to want to go in. I was playing with some guy earlier today, and he had his chat on, and I was like, okay, if I have the chat on, it's got to be exclusively with friends, because whatever him and his girlfriend were talking about, I did not need to hear any of their conversation.
Straight arguments in the middle of my game chat? Is that what's going on?
No, it wasn't arguments. They were just on some head assery. She would ask him a question, and he go, oh yeah, whatever you say, babe. Super nonchalant, he was trying to get rid of her. And so you would hear everything that would be happening. She'd walk away after she asked a question, and then you could hear her come back in the room and ask another question. And you could just hear this guy get flustered every time she came in the room. She did this 7 times. And I'm just in the back, listening to music and laughing as this is happening. I'm like, all right, I got to turn the chat off, because I'm pretty sure he didn't want people to hear that, and I didn't need to hear it. So, yeah. But I'm enjoying this game so far. I think it's worth the $20 that it's on sale for right now. I know it's on PC and Switch too. I'm not sure if it's on anything else. I'm pretty sure it is, though.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I've seen it pop up in my Steam feed a couple of times now. And then my buddies even sent it to me the other day, because we were all like, ooh, this actually looks pretty polished up and could be fun. But my reason for not picking it up, as per usual, is there's just a million video games to play, and I am way too dedicated to the other shit that I'm playing right now. And if I wasn't, there would be something else just as enticing coming my way. So it's just timing is almost everything at this point for playing a game in my weird little rotation. And I'm there's a surplus of amazing shit constantly, and I'm never short on something interesting to do. So
I can say without a doubt, this is 100% a Zach type of game.
Yeah, does it? I mean, it hits all of the notes. So if it's on sale right now, there's literally nothing stopping me from just picking it up and you and me giving it a go.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great time, and we got to make that happen. So when you pick it up, we'll set a time aside later this week and we'll play.
I'm down. All
'Cause
right.
I
I'll literally
cannot put
buy
this
it
down.
right now. I'm not kidding. I'm just going to go get it right now.
Hell yeah.
you
We're
talked
making
me
this
into it
happen.
live.
That's the best way to get talked into buying a video game is, we're on camera, we're here. Like, why the fuck not? It's
This
on
actually
sale.
does look really dope the more that I look
It's
at
so
it. It's
fun,
kind of
man.
got some like System Shock vibes, plus like a few other things, like the remake for System Shock.
Mm. See, I know Carson played a lot of that one.
Yeah.
So maybe we can get him to buy this soon as well.
Yeah, it is. How many people does it take? Solo or co-op challenge up to 3 players. So this could be the first Mayhem co-op 3-person extravaganza, if you know what I'm saying. Like we could get all 3 of us down on here.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him up here in a little bit and see if he can. He might already have it in his Steam library, in his rambunctious group of homies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll see if we can get that happening later this week.
All right, snagged it. Download will be in progress after the show.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, it's hard to say no to a good game if it's fucking $16. And like the way that I get most of my shit these days, like I think literally the last 3 titles that I purchased, aside from Death Stranding 2, has been with like friend recommendations for the most part.
Yeah.
So there it is.
And I wanted like a really good shooter to like grab on the Switch, because who knows when Call of Duty is going to be coming to this thing. We know Battlefield's probably not coming out on this thing, but it felt kind of like it was missing a little bit of that multiplayer shooter like adventure for me, at least. And I was like, that looks interesting. I hear some people talking about it. It's a gorgeous looking game as well for its art direction.
Yeah, art
And
style
I was
really
like,
solid.
Yeah. And I started playing it earlier today and I was like, I'm in. This is great. I'm glad I spent $20 on this, because had I waited and not been on sale, I probably still would have bought it, but I wouldn't have been upset had I not got it on sale.
You know what is highly likely? This thing probably runs like a dream on fucking Steam Deck. So I am going to put that on this son of a bitch right now. I'm literally typing in the buttons to install it.
100.
So let's just run that on the side. Dude, that thing probably, if it's running on Switch 2 is fairly powerful of a device, but there is a good chance that this runs like butter. Yeah, it has a platinum rating on Proton DB, so it probably does run really well on Switch 2.
Yeah. I think I know Switch 2 is at least 60 frames per second consistently.
That's good.
Yeah. I could imagine you'll probably get 120 frames on Steam Deck.
Yeah, Steam Deck, at least on the OLED model, gets all the way up to 90 FPS, which is feels real smooth on here. So it depends. The games are a little all over the place, I'll be honest. Anything AAA on the Steam Deck is always kind of I don't know, you have to try for yourself. But like indie titles really do, if they are done correctly, and we've seen it happen where the people walk back, like Valheim got a huge update about like a month ago now, where that game runs like a dream on the Steam Deck. Like it is solid, locked in 60 FPS. You can almost kind of play around with the settings to get just about whatever graphical features you want going. So you can get good stuff. And the Deadzone Rogue looks like it's could be in that sweet spot of like these graphics are too hard or the devs optimized it just right. But Proton DB is pretty good, like for an indicator on like how well that port actually is, and it's got the platinum rating, so I'm expecting good things.
Yeah. And this is one of those games where I'm kind of like, I wish more bigger outlets that I follow would be talking about this type of game more, because to me this like holds like weight where it could be up there. It's like one of like the best indie games of the year, you know, akin to like Blueprints and shit like that, where if enough people were playing it, enough people were talking about it. I know the world has taken to roguelites like fucking cinnamon rolls at this point. So it's like, why are not more people talking about this?
Yeah.
So
it's hard to say, dude. Roguelites are weirdly niche, but also not at the same time, right?
Mhm.
Like the hardcore audience of roguelikes and roguelites are very They're very dedicated fans, kind of like the same side of Metroidvanias. Like Metroidvanias have a very niche but super hardcore group. But I see the same level of like some roguelites, like they break the mainstream, like Hades, and people love that shit. But then there's still like the Binding of Isaacs out there, where it's like a very dedicated small fan base that loves this stuff. Although you might not be able to say that about Binding of Isaac, because Mugenics has like a huge player base. Like people really love that guy's work. So I don't know if I can actually call that fucking small.
Hit already like over like 5 million or something like that.
Yeah, like the dude sold ridiculous amounts of fucking copies, and then people were like, what the hell is this? Why would people even play this shit? Meanwhile, everyone enjoying it is just silently enjoying it and like having a blast. So it's almost like YouTubers popping off. Like I remember way back in the early days of YouTube, if you saw somebody with 1 million subs, you'd be like, holy fuck, dude, that guy must be popular. But I swear to God, like every month I stumble upon a new YouTuber somewhere, part of some community, with like 2 or 3 million subs. I'm like, damn, people really watching this guy or watching this girl, and I've never heard of them. And like games kind of have some of that same appeal, like that same status of like, dude, this game's blowing the fuck up and the audience is massive, and I've never heard of this title before.
Yeah, I know a girl that I met recently who lives in Denver. She was telling me about her YouTube channel, and I looked at it and I'm like, you have over 2 million followers on YouTube, and you're just at this bar like you're a normal fucking person. Like,
yeah, it's wild.
What are we doing here? And she's just like, yeah, like, just post my daily stuff. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. She was actually really sweet. I'm not going to say who it was on camera, but we'll talk about that afterwards.
All right.
But, you brought up Steam Deck, how you're going to load this game up on Steam Deck.
Oh yeah, it's done. It finished. There's only 9 gigs, so it's already installed.
Another game that I know that you've been playing since it came out recently, Death Stranding 2. How have you been playing that? Have you been playing it on Steam Deck, or have you been playing it on your rig? Like,
all on the rig, yeah. Okay. There's been no touch of it on the Steam Deck. I want the maximum cinemized experience that Hideo Kojima wants in an ultra-wide fashion. Yeah. I've seen the posts that people have been making about trying to run Death Stranding 2 on Steam Deck. I never expected that game to work, so I just didn't even try. But the cool part, though, I don't know if you've seen this happening. Somebody made a mod called Eclipse. I don't know the modder's name, and I wish I did, because I would shout him out. But the mod's called Eclipse. You can download it onto your Steam Deck, and it actually brings the game up to fairly playable levels. It does drop some graphical effects here and there, but you can get it to about like a solid 30 FPS, and then you could play the whole game that way if you wanted to. I am kind of a frame rate hog, and I am a graphics whore, so I floored this thing, dude. I am running Death Stranding 2 with like ultimate settings. Everything is maxed out. I got ray tracing enabled at the highest possible thing. I went down that settings list and I just clicked those fucking settings options until they just didn't stop going to the right, and then I hit run. And the game is beautiful, is unbelievably good looking. Like, I've been at multiple locations now, multiple segments, where this game does something really fucking cool, where unlike this happens a few times in the first game, but not very often, just like once or twice, where the camera like pulls itself back for this huge wide angle shot, and you're able to control the camera and the character, so it just floats above where you are, giving you this insane landscape view of wherever you currently are doing your porter delivery run from. And it's fucking gorgeous. Like, they picked the best vistas for this shit. They knew exactly what they were doing when they were setting that system up, because they're all lookers, dude. Like, it's just, damn, you guys really knew when I was going to be walking down this spot, that was the perfect moment to set up a wide angle cam. And it's awesome. Like, it's just so awesome. Yeah, so I'm having a blast. I'm about, I think I'm a little over 8 hours in. No, I'm not. I was playing it pretty late till last night. I'm 10.4 hours deep into Death Stranding 2 right now, and it's only been out for like a couple of days. I know people have already beaten it though, so like there's that. So I'm not totally no-lifing it, but I've been putting in the time that I can, and yeah, it's a blast.
I knew, my little brother, he had 50 hours in Pokemon Pokopia 24 hours after it came out. So
that's wild, dude. That's so insane. That's literally just fucking 3 days straight of playing. That's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he's like that with Pokemon games. Like, he's currently at the Texas competition for Scarlet and Violet right now. So Pokemon is his franchise, and he will be at Worlds later this year. So yeah, that man puts his time into catching them all for sure.
Yeah, I don't think I can totally judge because I had something like fucking 40 or 60 hours deep on BF6 once that game finally dropped by the end of the first like week and a half or something.
Yeah,
like I was going pretty hard there.
I know, I'm like that with certainly like Tears of the Kingdom. Like I seriously took off of work for that week and was like, all right, I'm dedicating this entire week to playing Tears of the Kingdom. Nobody bothered me at that point.
Yeah, I took a 4-day vacation, 4-day weekend. I was just like, dude, this is the shit that I care about. I know other people want to go somewhere, and I did. I went up to the mountains for a little bit, but I went up to the mountains with my fucking Switch, and I launched Tears of the Kingdom. So it was good.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, I made sure to still go outside and go to the gym during that week, but at the same time, I dedicated more than enough time that I know to Zelda, and I will do it again when the next Zelda game comes out.
Yeah. So I got a question for you though, kind of relating back to our Death Stranding 2 stuff. I don't remember if you told me this. I think you did. How much of Metal Gear Solid 5 did you get the chance to play?
Oh, I played all of it.
Yeah. So Death Stranding 2 is giving me major like MGS5 vibes. Mainly in the gameplay and the stealth department. Like the stealth action has been totally upped this time around.
I can see that.
Fucking plays out great. Like I'm a big fan of it. You can do some pretty cool stuff related to the stealth. My favorite thing so far, and this is an incredibly tiny little detail that they added in. You can go off before you go into like an outpost that you need to raid to like get a package that somebody stole. You can drop your backpack, like just take it off completely and leave it in the location and then sneak your way back in. And I think how high the packages are like stacking on your backpack plays into how easily you get spotted this time. So you're like incentivized to go find a safe place and stash this thing and then get your way down into it. But like right off the bat, they're already like throwing stealth missions at you of like, hey, you need to go sneak in and like knock out all these guys and steal this thing, or like we need you to clear this outpost so it's like other people can move back in safely. And I'm getting a lot of the Kojima MGS vibes out of it because it's big open world, big stealth scenarios that you can tackle any which way you want. It's got me really fucking excited for whatever Svent is supposed to be. Or like whatever the hell that game is named. Like, damn it, man, he's still got it. It's still in there.
When do you think that game comes out?
Oh, I don't know, because I think OD is his next big thing, isn't it? Like, that is going to come out first, and then it's Svent is after that.
I don't know if OD ever comes out. I feel like production... because it's Xbox is funding it, and we know how things go with them. So I don't know if OD actually like makes it to market, and I feel like I've heard more about his other game with PlayStation than I have with OD at this point.
Damn, I didn't consider that at all. Yeah, there's a chance that it could be like the what is it? Not Project Zero. Zero Dark.
Yeah,
no, Perfect Dark. Yeah, Perfect Dark. Zero Dark 30, Perfect Zero Dark, Project Zero. My brain just could not fucking find the title in there. But yeah, so it could end up like that. That would be incredibly depressing because that means we're round 2 into Kojima trying to make a horror game and then the universe slaps it down.
It's like, hey dog, we actually don't want you to make one of these. You're good at spy shooters and things like that, so keep, doing your Metal Gear Solids.
Yeah, but the horror shit works though in Death Stranding. Like it's solid. I like the BTs. They haven't been as big of an issue in Death Stranding 2 so far. They are definitely, like, they're spooky. There's a couple new variants that have freaked me out a little bit, but like for the most part, they don't seem to have as much of a focus in this game. And I'm hoping that that difficulty and like me being nervous about BTs rises later in the game that I go. But right now, early game, it seems like they're trying to introduce more of that like human combat element a lot earlier.
I'm curious. I still need to get through. I have the original Death Stranding on my iPad.
Yeah, that's
that
wild.
Just have not
that's even on iPad.
Yeah, I just have not played it. So I still need to figure that out, because who knows if the second one comes to Mac OS or iPad OS.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. They are on a consistent release schedule of getting it off of the initial platform for PlayStation, because it was 8 months. No, it was 7 months between the first game's release on PlayStation 4 and then it hit PC. And then this is kind of the same situation where I think this time was an 8-month gap. So they are still staying within that window of like where you are planning on getting to other places. So there's a chance. I don't really think that Death Stranding 2 is going to come to a iPad without significant graphical downgrades, because this game, it is a little bit heavier to run if you crank everything up. I haven't done a ton of testing on like the different levels of graphics that you can play with. I literally just launched the game and just went all the way up, launched the game, first opening cutscene. I want to see how pretty this can be. And then I've just played that way ever since. But considering what the Steam Deck is getting roughly right now, it is heavy enough that a Steam Deck is not lightly playing the game. Because like Death Stranding 1 plays pretty decently on Steam Deck until the director's cut came out. Something happened when the director's cut released that kind of like fucked over the performance for the whole thing. But initially, you could get like a solid 45 FPS and just kind of keep it there at like low to medium settings. And it ran totally fine. So now with Death Stranding 2 being kind of trapped at 20 without that mod, it's hard to say how easily that thing could move over to like an iPhone or an iPad.
Yeah, I mean, those M-series chips that Apple has come up with, like, those chips are really nice. I just wish that more game developers supported it to see more games on those chips.
Yeah.
Because when a game comes to Mac OS or like iPhone or iOS, basically, it's impressive. It's always super impressive. But it's just never enough of it until now, which I guess we'll get into our first actual topic of the show. Let's talk a little bit about Crimson Desert, because that is a game that came out on Mac OS here recently. I decided not to pick it up right now just because, like we were talking about earlier, there's so many cooks in the kitchen and some of them just have to get cut until you just have more time for it. And I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter Stories 3, so that's been eating a lot of like my core game time that I actually want to sink a lot of hours into. And now I'm on Deadzone Rogue and I'm just like, fuck, well, I can see myself playing this for a long time. But good thing about this one is I don't have to like just sit here and like grind like I would an RPG. Crimson Rogue, however, a lot of people seem to really either really hate this game with a strong fiery passion, or are willing to die on every single hill to make it the greatest thing since applesauce or the second coming of Jesus. Which, yeah, like a lot of people do that for their game that they really like, so I get it. I've been one to do that for a lot of games that I like as well, and I've been one to do that for games that I dislike. So I'm not going to sit here and argue, if it's that or if it isn't that. My thing is, have you been paying attention to everything that's been going on with this game?
Yeah, I've been trying to follow the discourse around it just because I'm genuinely curious, and I've been genuinely curious about it for a long time. I remember when it got originally announced at the I think it was the Game Awards. like a while ago, and then it kind of went into hibernation. And then I remember being intrigued, being like, damn, that looks kind of cool. I guess we'll come back to it. And then more and more started to kind of pop out. And so like I've been just cautiously optimistic about the game. I know we've talked about this in the past and at other places. A lot of the discourse around it though, dude, I genuinely feel like is just a level of people feeling the need to have a take, and it's facing a little bit of tall poppy syndrome where like game is too hyped. People want a reason to tear it down. People want a reason to build it up. Everybody's got to have their hardcore take on like, that's why this game is what it is. And everyone's got to get their thing in. So I don't know, dude. I think there are many valid complaints about the game's controls from the way that it sounds, just based off of gameplay that I've watched. I think I've seen I watched somebody's 2 hours of just the opening section, and yeah, those gameplay controls are pretty obtuse. There are some fucking industry standards that have been made that these guys are just kind of like, we're not doing it that way. And I don't know if that's because of Korea and they have a different standard of control schematics, and they just think that this is just the way that it should feel. This is just what we think because this is what our culture does. You can find that in JRPGs versus American stuff versus Polish stuff versus Swedish stuff, all the time. Some people just kind of I think this button should be this, and they just roll with it that way. We're all different countries. We have different ways of seeing things and doing things. And I don't know, if I haven't played a lot of Korean games, so I don't really know what the fuck goes on, but they do have some deep menu systems. Some of that could be MMO teachings on their own history coming back into play here. Maybe they just think that this is just a better method, or they just thought that was the best way to cram this in, because that control scheme is fucking crazy. There are buttons for buttons on button combos inside of button combos. They are using everything that controller could possibly give you. So I get that complaint if you want to go and talk about some stuff. Some of it's just uncomfortable to press versus some of it just did you really need to make a precision jump button? Couldn't we just make you just jump? Some stuff just doesn't add up. But yeah, it's hard to say. What else have you been saying about it? Because I don't want to ramble the entire time.
No, you could have totally took that and rambled the whole time with it. The thing that really kind of turned me off from being a day one adopter of this game was the discourse around the controls. Because when I play a game, and if the controls aren't really sticking with me, or if I'm overly confused about the controls, I know how I am, and I'm all right, I'm not having fun with this. It's time for me to go ahead and put it down. So that was kind of the thing where I'm now that I'm seeing a lot more of complaints about, okay, this game controls very weird, I think they really try to stick to the MMO formula of the game.
Yeah.
And that really didn't translate well to how majority of people are going to be playing this, which is controller. And I'm not really sure how keyboard and mouse players are feeling about it, because maybe for them it's fine, but maybe a lot of what I'm seeing for the people that don't really like it, they're all playing on their BROG Xbox Ally, or they're playing it with some sort of controller, and those are the people that aren't really getting it. Mighty Keith kind of summed it up where he's all right, well, you got to go jump on a skateboard and you pick up a stripper and eat mangoes with her and press 3 buttons at the same times. And I was all right, that explains it. So I was I don't think I'm going to be picking this up until they do something about the controls. And they seem to have already put a patch out today for better controls, or to streamline it a little bit further. But I don't know. I don't want to be, that person, because I haven't played the game yet. So I really can't say if I'm going to like it or not. It seems like a game that I think I would enjoy for a content standpoint. But all the discourse that I've seen about this game really doesn't know what it really wants to be. It kind of makes me worry for GTA a little bit, because Grand Theft Auto has kind of always been that game where it's a bunch of different games all in one. So how are people going to react to Grand Theft Auto 6 when that comes out? If we get into that game and all of a sudden you can do a million different things, and you have Rockstar has always been very good about how a game feels and controls outside of like GTA 4, I would say. I feel like that might have been the worst one when it comes to this. And the reason I bring that up is because people were comparing this game to that as far as controls and Assassin's Creed 3 like mixed into one. And Assassin's Creed 3 did not control well at all. That was a very clunky playing game. Grand Theft Auto 4 also felt very clunky. I still loved the fuck out of that game, don't get me wrong. But as far as that compared to like GTA 5 or like Vice City or San Andreas, I did feel like those games played better for the time that they came out. Crimson Desert, we actually got a question from Lucky C kind of around this, saying that the whole situation is weird. Why not delay the game with all the patches to remove Gen AI and to have better controls, and maybe it would have been better received? I think I kind of agree with that, where they could have delayed the game by like a week or 2 weeks, because that's really the biggest sticking point, is people are having issues with the controls.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been such a bad idea. The other part of it that I see a lot of people complain about is the like the quest design seems to be very MMO like, of like go over here and do this and then talk to that guy and then take his thing and come back and then my quest is done. Hey, could you go get this for me? Thank you. And then like that's the whole game. When I think because of the mystique behind the hype of like, hey, this is a developer that does MMOs and they're switching over this and it's this huge game with like millions of mechanics and we've never seen anything from them like this before, that some people got that mentality in their head of like, this is a big open world character driven story. And then when it ended up just being an MMO that is with millions of things to do in a sandbox, people weren't ready for that mentality. Because I don't know, that's kind of always what I expected. I expected to have the Skyrim like brain of like, I'm just gonna ditch the main story the second it allows me to. I'm just gonna go do whatever the fuck I want. Yeah. And like that seems to be the people who enjoy this game the most so far, are the ones that are just like, oh, I made it to that point where it's open, bye. And then they just have a blast just finding all of the secrets and exploring the world and just getting lost for hours and hours and hours. And so that sounds like my kind of game. I didn't pick it up because Death Stranding 2 happened, and I am way more of a Kojima fan than I am towards a studio I've never really heard about before, making what sounds like a pretty cool title, but has some weird control scheme issues, plus other random junk that people are associating with it. That I'm like, you know what? I could just go play the thing that I've been really excited about, and then I'll come back to Crimson Desert at some point.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel as well.
That's kind of where my brain went. Like, I already pre-ordered fucking Death Stranding 2. I was excited for it when it got announced on PlayStation 5. I don't own a PlayStation 5, so I've been sitting here patiently avoiding all of the spoilers possible. It's here. I can dive in now. And so I'll come back to Crimson Desert later.
Yeah, and I think for me, like, this is a game that, one, I need to see if it does release on Switch 2. And how that looks and runs on Switch 2 when eventually it does come over, if it does come over. And two, I need to wait for a sale. I just can't see myself spending $70 on this one right now. And if you think games don't go on sale on fucking Switch, they definitely do not go on sale on Mac. They never put games on sale. Those games are always full price. It doesn't matter if it's third party or not. Which is why I think Apple needs to work with developers and game studios a lot more, so that way they can get some of these big sales as well. But I'll see a game on Steam that's also available on Mac. It'll be like $10 on Steam, and it will be a full $70 on Mac. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
That's bad.
Why is this a thing? Yeah.
Steam sales are like infamously known for being super cheap, though. Like, they really do control the pricing of the market. Like, even all the key sellers sell Steam keys, so if your game was on sale on Steam at a certain price point, key sellers have to go to that. And it's pretty brutal, like the way that everything is set in terms of it. So It's hard to go against, dude. Steam being the platform for personal computers and gaming. They just set it.
Yeah.
They own the game.
Because this Epic I know GOG always like has stuff on sale as well, but I know Steam is like number one when it comes to PC sales.
Yeah, they just have the most amount of users when it comes to any PC platform. I don't know what Epic's sales are like. I think they are similar. They have a pretty significantly large library though at this point, but I don't use Epic. I personally get all my shit on Steam, and I've been doing that for years, and that's my digital library at this point. And the Steam Deck doesn't make me have any of another excuse to go anywhere else because I want to get shit there. Although the good thing though, with the Steam Deck's open capabilities, there are ways to play games on other launchers. If you want to do Epic, if you want to do EA app for whatever reason, if you want to do GOG, those are all there and available to you, which is really nice to see. And there are workarounds because in the end of the day, SteamOS is just Arch Linux. I'm not locked into using Valve, but the convenience of it is so high, and all of the games I want to play are on that platform anyways. I don't really have a reason to go anywhere else.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get that. When you build your library on a platform, it's really hard to look at another platform and say, I'm going to go spend $1,000, $2,000 on that platform to build another library up. And that's why when it comes to console players, that's why the majority of console players still get PS5.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And we can kind of use that to, we won't use that to segue into another topic. We'll get some of these questions out of the way though. We got Shorzy asking us, are we going to play the Switch 2 edition of Mario Wonder? I plan on it. I love that game. I am ready for more content of it. I kind of wish we were getting a sequel over just more added features, but I guess a sequel will come in the next 7 years, and I'll be stoked about it at that point when the Mario 4 or 3 movie comes out with it. What about you? Are you planning on playing Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition?
I haven't looked into it very much, to be completely honest. I've kind of let that one sit in the back of my head. I would like to, the more I think about it, because fucking Mario Wonder was an amazing video game. I'm so happy that Nintendo just didn't rush out the next 2D Mario title and made that. Anytime I think about Mario Wonder, I just think, wow, what a fucking fantastic little thing that it is. So, I guess I am excited for it whenever it drops, and if it's at a good price point and people say good things about it, I'll probably pick it up for Switch 2 and just run.
It comes out Thursday this week, and it's $20.
$20. So is that the same price as the Kirby DLC that they did?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I might wait to see what people say, because the more I think about it, too, I'm trying to keep my Switch 2 gaming to just getting Donkey Kong Bonanza done. Because, dude, I have to finish that shit. I'm trying so hard not to let myself play anything else on that platform. When I go to my living room TV, it's to play Bonanza and to finish Bonanza, because I know that there's spoilers, and the longer I wait, the harder it gets to avoid shit. And I just gotta get it done. But every time I play Bonanza too, I also don't regret not playing anything else, because Bonanza's fucking amazing, and every time you play that game you get introduced to 3 new mechanics, and it's awesome. It's just so awesome.
Bonanza was a great time. I am still probably my favorite game from last year. I can't deny that, which I'm still looking for an excuse to revisit a couple of games from last year. I need to go back and finish ZA. I finished Bonanza. I wanted to 100% it. I'm pretty close. I'm at 84% on that whole game. But yeah, I just need a few more bananas.
So good, dude. It's just so good. I would like to 100% that game, but because I'm a little bit doing my best to chug along on my backlog and stay a little disciplined with it, I think when the credits roll, I'll pack it up and move on to the next thing. Because I want to play the DLC too, and that looks super fucking fun, but like there's too much stuff. I am trying to stay on top of it so I can like be part of the conversation, but like fuck me, man. If this isn't your full-time job, how are you supposed to like play all this stuff? Like it's just nuts. It's just fucking nuts. So
that's why
I've kind of given up a little bit of trying to just like get the stuff I am playing out the door and then find what I enjoy and go from there.
That's why I'm kind of glad there hasn't been a big general Nintendo Direct yet, because I'm like, okay, this gives me the perfect opportunity to play catch up before Nintendo starts throwing all of their games out. And I think they kind of like did that by design. They're like, let's sit on our games a little bit longer, let some of these third parties like cook for a little bit, and then, you know, we'll kind of like have our games there as complimentary games as well. Because I feel like next year they're really going to blow the lid off of the Switch too. I feel like into this year, into next year is when we're really going to start seeing all the big Nintendo first party games. Like the ones that people are like, where's Smash Brothers? Where's Zelda? Where's Mario? And I feel like they kind of already like set the table with announcing Pokemon Winds and Waves and for how good that looks. Because I feel like that's spring next year. But I really do feel like towards the end of this year, after Fire Emblem and Dustbloods and the other secret projects that we know are going to come out next year, who knows? Smash Bros is probably right around the corner. There's probably a brand new Kirby game somewhere out there as well. Whatever else, maybe a new Star Fox game. A man can dream.
Man can dream. Maybe Metroid 5 in fucking 6 years. I don't hope it's shorter than that. But
I think the next 2D Metroid is next year.
Dude, I would fucking hope so. I keep looking at Dread. Like, as I was telling you earlier, I've been unpacking more of my apartment, putting stuff away. I found my Metroid Dread collector's box buried away, and I got it on the shelf now. And I was like, God damn, what a video game that is. Like, so please set me up with another one.
That's another game that I would love to go back to, but I'm like, I beat that game. I did everything that I needed to with it. I'm ready for another one.
Yeah, I played through it 3 times, so I can't afford a 4th run. You just got to give me a reason to go back into Metroid. You always do. Like I said, it's too many video games. I got other stuff I won't play. I could go back and play it, but I got other stuff. Like Death Stranding 2 is in front of me. Got to finish it. Gotta be Donkey Kong Bonanza. Those are my 2 priorities. Yeah,
I keep in the back of my mind, I keep like having like the twitch, you know, when you don't like watch a certain movie after a certain amount of time, you're just like, I got the twitch in my neck to go watch the movie. Dude. Yeah, I'm having that so hard with Xenoblade right now because I'm like, okay, it's been 4 years since Xenoblade Chronicles 3 came out. Dang, I know Xenoblade X was last year. But Xenoblade X is such a different game than the Klaus trilogy, where I'm like, okay, this gives me kind of the itch, but it doesn't really feed the core story content that I love from Xenoblade, because Xenoblade X is the Crimson Desert of Xenoblade games, and people are going to hate me for saying that, but it really is. It's the content version of Xenoblade. It's a great game. It's phenomenal. It does not have the story content that I like as a Xenoblade fan, where I'm like, that's what I need, and I need something soon.
Well, let's hope that Nintendo Direct finally drops and you get the announcement you've been dying to hear.
Yeah, I think we're getting Xenoblade 4 this year.
You think so? You think that's going to be the big holiday thing? I think it would have to be that paired with one other thing, because the JRPG crowd is big, but it doesn't lean into that like, hey, here's everybody kind of deal. I know I'm excluded from that a little bit because I'm not a Xenoblade fan.
Yeah, I think we get informed opinions, possibly. Xenoblade 4 and Switch 2 editions of Xenoblade 2 and 3. And also, I believe that we get a big game this holiday season from Nintendo as well.
He's got to be. That slot's open. We all know that they like to close that door and like have the thing behind prize number 1, and everyone's going to go, holy fuck, it's what? Like Nintendo really likes having their showstoppers. Like, this is the big game that we rally marketing behind. And nobody knows what the fuck that is yet, so we're all sitting here. I don't think we're genuinely getting a direct until like summer at this point. Like, it really
That's what I'm thinking.
It feels long now, and I hope that the reason behind that is because they want their third parties to thrive a little bit.
Yeah.
But also as a fan, I'm just like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, I think they kind of wanted to get... I really do believe that they wanted to get past the Mario movie a little bit before they go into, okay, now we can start talking about games again. Because the Mario movie is going to be a huge movie. And
yeah, it'll be big.
I think the movie's going to set up a lot of what they're going to do with a lot of game properties, because Pikmin are going to be in the Mario movie. Pikmin are also going to be in the Mario Switch 2 edition later this week as well. So yeah, it seems like they really just want to set up a lot of like cool stuff before they start setting up the game catalog, which it doesn't make sense to some, and I can understand why, but it kind of like, you don't want to trample over yourself. It's like when you do have too many groceries in your hand and you only want to make one trip, but you know if you do make one trip, you're going to end up spilling some shit or breaking some like shit. And I feel like if they would have made one trip, they would end up breaking some stuff and people would have been confused. So this is them making multiple trips, and I feel like it's going to pay off.
Yeah, I get that logic of trying to not, like, I guess, compete with yourself in some ways. It's confusing to me because I don't look at movies and video games in the same, like, marketplace, like, at all. But companies do view, like, more and more all of their properties as just attention. So, like, if my attention is over here, then it's not over there. So I get it. I still genuinely, maybe that's because I'm so bored with movies these days. Like, I really don't watch anything anymore. I don't watch TV. I don't watch Netflix stuff. I don't go to the movie theater like maybe twice or 3 times a year now, when they used to be like a monthly thing for me, like a really long time ago. So I really don't view that as separate, but you could just say, Zach, you're not going to the movie theaters. Instead, you're playing video games at home, and like that's where your attention is. So like that's where my entertainment dollars get spent. So technically, Nintendo doesn't want to trip over itself in that way. But yeah, it's hard for me to think of it like that because I still see all of that as a separate thing. But entertainment is fighting for your wallet and your eyes at like every step.
Yeah, because I look at it like this. I feel like we're kind of like in a different bubble, but there are people who are going to think like this when the time comes. Let's say they announce Super Mario Galaxy 3 for the Switch 2 to come out later this year. Let's say they announced that last month, but they also have the Mario movie still coming out. There's probably going to be a large portion of that bubble that say, oh, I'll just wait until the game comes out. Instead of now you have, oh, I really want to go see the movie and I want to play the game versus one or the other. And I feel like that's what they really don't want to like trip over right now.
Yeah, there will be people who think that those two are the same thing, even though they are separate. But I think that's just because I'm used to the world of adaptations of like, people take liberties. Like, you just got to get used to the fact that they are going to be different either 100% of the time, or they just are like they changed a few scenes here and there. Yeah. And so like I am in the mindset that they will be two separate things completely. But there are people out there that thought the Wii U gamepad was just a gamepad. So Nintendo's fucked up their marketing like before.
Yep, they thought it was just a Wii controller. I couldn't tell you how many times people came into Best Buy and say, oh, can I just buy that for my Wii? And I'd be like, well, no, you got to buy a whole new console.
Brand new console, my bro. You got to get the whole new deal, next gen. Like, what? Yeah, so I get it.
Another question from Nasty Nancy. Another Xbox Direct before the Nintendo Direct is crazy.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I read that news this morning and I did not fucking fully incorporate that. What do you think's going to get shown off? What do you think they're holding on?
Well, they announced that the headliner is going to be Sega's not Yakuza game, the one that I'm actually like pretty stoked for.
Was it
Stranger Than Heaven?
Oh, Stranger Than Heaven. Oh shit.
Yeah,
that's cool. I didn't think that would headline it at all.
Yeah, me either. Like I thought that would be kind of like at a Sega thing later in the summer, but I guess now that they're showing it here, we can kind of speculate on that a little bit. That's probably coming out this fall at some point.
Nice. Yeah, dude, I feel so behind on Yakuza stuff. I'm really excited for this setting because Stranger Than Heaven, like, oh my god, the art style looks fucking awesome. But I feel so like I have to go play Yakuza Kiwami 2, and I gotta play Dark Tide, and then I gotta go play fucking Judgment, and then I gotta skip Lost Judgment, and then I gotta go play fucking what's the one that's after that? No, I gotta go all the way over to fucking 4, 5, and 6, and then I gotta do the Man Who's Infinite Wealth and the Two Dead to Die or whatever it is, and then Pirate Yakuza. Like the Yakuza franchise has gotten so big, like there's just so much that I feel like I have so much catching up to do that I'm never gonna fucking make it all the way through here.
Yeah, I'm very much in the same boat as you, where I just finished 3 earlier in February. Yeah, because we're at the end of March. Yeah, I finished 3 at the end of February, and now I'm like, well, I got 4, 5, and 6 that I still need to play, which I heard a rumor that those are going to be coming to the Switch at some point.
Good.
And then 7 and 8 are also going to come to the Switch next year. 7. Yeah, so there's a lot of Yakuza to be played, but Stranger Than Heaven kind of seems like its own thing, and seems like they are going in a very different direction with the setting of it being in 1943. I think that's going to be pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, no, it looks sweet. 1943 is a really crazy fucking time period to be positioning a Yakuza game. Like that's super unique. Like that's smack in the middle of World War II. So like,
yeah,
what are we gonna fucking really be talking about? Because like it's not during the nuclear bombing tragedies and all of that. So I know that that can't really be incorporated into the story, but there are some very fucking interesting like political dynamics at play during that time period with Japan and the way that they were like coercing their civilian population into war. So like it's going to be really strange and interesting to see as a period piece. Like I'm excited to see how they tackle it.
Yeah, I'm very curious about this one. I had to go watch like the latest trailer again. Yeah. But as far as whatever else Xbox announces, I feel like we'll probably see more of that 007 game, because that's supposed to be coming out pretty soon. And the craziest thing about it is you would think they'd be talking about that game more, and there has not been really a peep about it since last summer, and it's supposed to come out in May. So maybe this is the time. If they don't show that game here, I think that game might be getting delayed.
Yeah, I mean, it's either we're going to get a shit ton of marketing like right up front, which is what a lot of people seem to be doing, where it's like the last 3 months, the 2 months before, 1 month before, we start to like really just open the floodgates, or they're going to kick it back. And so I think like we might be in for a kick it back situation, because that hasn't even been on the top of my mind.
Yeah, and that seems like a game that you will want a lot of people to start talking about probably like a month ago. Yeah. So like, I don't know if that's releasing soon. I think you would want to do that sooner. Unless, because the first time that we heard about it was in a Nintendo Direct. Unless Nintendo has the marketing for it, and there is going to be a Direct soon.
Yeah, who knows? There's such a mystery.
We'll probably see more of, they just announced Minecraft Dungeons. Probably see more of that.
Forza 6, Forza Horizon 6, which I also am very pumped for. Like I would call myself a new fan. I have come into the franchise on the second half of the series, because I started with 4 and then I played 5. And 6 seems like this really cool return to form of 4, because 5 had some like interesting choices about progression, although Forza's always kind of been doing this for a long time. Where like the whole game is a slot machine. Like we're just trying to give you the fun stuff as soon as you can get it. There's a technically like a loot box mechanic in there, but like you don't really pay for it. I don't know the history of the wheel spins in Forza, but they never felt cheap to me. They're just a thing that's there that you get for free just for like driving your car. But the part of the game that a lot of people complained about 5 is the progression is really bad. You don't really feel like you're getting anything because you can start the game and within less than 2 hours, you could have an S tier XXX scaled like supercar. And then it's just like, why would I ever drive anything else other than the most badass thing I already own? And then you get to see like most of the game in 5 seconds because of that. Yeah. But this game is like redoing the scaling of it. So like if you're going to be doing actual races, you need to like build a progression. So you start with slow cars, and then like by the end of the campaign, you should be having like the most badass stuff, and you actually feel like you're earning your keep. Meanwhile, other games are like, here's a fucking McLaren right now. Isn't this thing really cool? And you're like, yeah, and like it's yours for the rest of the game. And you're like, shouldn't I have gotten this after working hard? Like you just get it for free. Yeah. And like that can be fun, but it doesn't really feel like I did anything. And then I just saw all of the cool shit really early. Then the other parts that people complained about is I don't think people liked Mexico as a setting. I thought it was gorgeous, but compared to the like London backcountry side stuff in Forza 4, there was something kind of missing, but I'm not enough of a fan to really tell you what that shit was. But dude, fucking Japan as a location in Forza 6 looks so dope. Like the setting is gorgeous, the seasons are gorgeous, the biomes are gorgeous. The city map they've done is like Tokyo Drift heaven. It's fucking gigantic. So I'm pumped. I don't want to be spending fucking $70-$80 on this game, but damn it, dude. Like, nobody does racing as well as Forza, in my opinion, right now. And I think fucking Forza 6 is going to be a banger if it's anywhere near as fun as much fun as I had playing Forza 4 or Forza 5. So I'm here. I think I'm going to go jump into that. So I hope that they have a way to talk about that one soon. I know this is a partner showcase, so they probably won't because that is a first-party Xbox title. But whenever I think about Xbox right now, that's the one thing I'm the most excited about from them.
Yeah, there's not much like from Xbox that I typically get excited for these days. But I think I'm kind of like with you on that, where I will be paying attention to this new Forza because I've always liked the Forza Horizon games. And I'm with you where I really started to get into this franchise with 4. And after playing 4 and 5, I was just like, okay, I can see the vision here. And eventually when I get to some of these countries that I think for me that I gravitate to a little bit more, like I think going around France would be pretty fucking cool for
that'd be a good one. Yeah, that would be a really good one. I'm kind of surprised that hasn't even happened yet now that I think about it, but I'm so happy Japan is the next pick. Like that was a fucking banger choice, dude. Like it's just gonna look so amazing. The drives are gonna feel great. The vibes are gonna be so fucking I can't stop gushing about it. I really was like so excited when I found out that Japan was the next location. Like it's a match made in heaven for Forza's like crazy sandbox car driving fun that's just over the top, and like doing absolutely. It in that location, it's like that's just perfect.
Where do they take the music? Because if I turn this game on and I'm not hit with Stay With Me or some other city pop, I might be a little bummed out.
Yeah, there'll be a radio station. They will have to do it that way because, like, I can't think of a lot of other games that still do radio stations the way that fucking Forza does, other than Cyberpunk and Grand Theft Auto. But that'll be around. Yeah, you'll get your good stuff. It'll come in.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like, we got to talk about that more when it actually comes out. That one comes out in May as well, I believe. I think that's early May of this year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming.
All right, we got Sue Swimmers, and this can kind of be used to segue into our last topic of the evening. Paying money for digital games on console is crazy. At least on PC, you don't have to worry about servers or not owning your product. I got some pushback about that last part, Sue Swimmers, but there was a story that actually came out today about Battlefield Hardline being delisted on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but not on PC. So I'll give you that. But as far as ownership, we got a conversation we got to get into, Sue. Let's talk a little bit about this game keycard situation and the fallout that came from that over the weekend, because there was a game from NIS America called Starbites that's going to be coming out on Switch, PlayStation, and Switch 2, and PC, of course. And I am guessing it was the collector's edition that they canceled, but a lot of people online seem to have taken that as a good thing. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing for a game physical in any way to get canceled outright like that, because you eliminate the option for a consumer to walk into a store or to go to an online store and say, I want this physically, like I want to be able to hold something and have the ability to sell it if I'm done with it. Other than NIS America said, okay, well, we won't have the physical version for the Switch 2. That version is now just going to be digital. So now you can't use that on a resale market. And I think eliminating options for consumers is always going to be a bad thing. And some people would argue that game keycards kind of eliminate options for consumers. They really don't, because when a lot of these games, like Nintendo, we know for a fact now, I guess kind of a known fact, kind of still a rumor in a way as well, that they only have 3 options as far as those game cards for the Switch 2. And that's 64 gigabytes, which are around $20 a card for a company to buy. Game key cards, which are pennies next to the dollars. And 2 gigabyte cards, which are still pretty expensive apparently. Apparently those are around $8 a card. But you don't really want a 2 gigabyte card to just say, yeah, I got 2 gigabytes worth of data on the card, which is probably just going to be your title screen, and then to still have to download the rest of that. This has always kind of like been a thing with PS5 and Xbox Series, and even dates back to like PS4 with some of those games as well, where if a game was too big to fit on a disc, you would get certain assets on the disc, and then you would have to download the rest of it. And a lot of that download is still stuff that wouldn't be playable if you went offline with that. And my biggest argument about this, and I know me, Carson, and Brett talked about this a few weeks ago. Carson hates game key cards. I've kind of like come around to game key cards. The more that I learn about how third parties are viewing these, is to get their games on as many platforms as possible for a reduced cost. Which, yeah, that's a lot of people would say, well, they should just, spend the money. These billion-dollar corporations. And I'm not going to defend a billion-dollar corporation or $1 million corporation. I'm not a $1 million corporation or a $1 billion corporation. But as somebody who has worked in these corporations, who sees how spending gets handled and how you do have to make things, like you do have to mitigate costs on certain things in order to make it viable for your business as a whole. Let's take Square Enix, for example. If they were to buy a 64 gigabyte card for all of the games that they have coming out to Switch, they've put out 10 games. So take 10 times 20 at that point. That's $200. And then basically you have to then multiply that by the number of pre-orders that you get, and then multiply that number by the number of extra copies for the people who aren't going to go into the store and pre-order it. So then you're out millions of dollars just to produce these games, where if I want to spend pennies next to the dollar to put it on a game key card and for you to like go download it at home and for you to still be able to resell that copy, let's say a year, 2 years from now, then you still get some money back. because that next person can take that game key card, put it into their console, and still download the game from Nintendo's servers or websites or whatever. I don't think Nintendo's going to drop support for these servers for the Switch games for a very long time, unless they just implode and then they don't have any money to support those servers. But I feel like the way the Switch has been supported and selling, you'll get 30, 40 years out of these games. That's just my take and my opinion. People can argue that, people can agree, disagree, but I've also seen a case where a lot of collectors buy games and don't even open the games that they have. So, and those are a lot of the people that are complaining about game key cards, where it's like, are you really going to play that game? Or is it just going to sit on the shelf and look kind of pretty? What do you think about this?
Yeah, I'll jump in a little bit. I guess I still sit probably arguing in place for Carson and Brett, because I am very much of the mentality of the preservist, or the preservationist. Both of the words, one of them's not real, one of them still works. Yeah, from a preservationist point of view, I think that's where I still draw the line on the game key cards. From a consumer point of view, ultimately it doesn't really matter all that much, because if you have a solid internet connection like most people do who are even involved in this hobby, then you've got the capability to get what you paid for. It does suck, though, knowing that we are moving away from an ownership standpoint, though, from that consumerist side, because look, like the Stop Killing Games movement came to life for a reason. People were just knocking out game services left and right for stuff that you paid full price for and should have not have lost ownership of. But surprise, surprise, you paid for a licensing key, not actually the product itself. So then in the fine print, 10 years later, we got to kill this. And I think that's what matters most to me still, is that, like, did I actually purchase a title that I get ownership of, that I can enjoy for as long as I'm on this green earth? Or did I purchase a licensing key, and then the second you decide to no longer supply services, it's over? Kind of sucks, though, because I am a massive hypocrite. I'm a huge fucking Steam advocate. My library on Steam is gigantic. So I made that trade for convenience over ownership like years ago. And way before I was ever cognizantly aware or intellectually aware of the choices that I had fucking made. So I walked myself into that nightmare of, I've purchased hundreds of licensing keys for video games. I signed my fate not even reading the fine print like many people have, but I still think that matters, like, a lot, that you should be able to own the shit that you paid for. So far, my Switch 2 collection, I own every game physically, except for fucking Mario Kart World, because it was hard to get that game for a digital copy, because it was, like, essentially free the way that I got it with my Black Friday deal. I just paid for a Switch 2 and it came with Mario Kart World. But I do plan on some point throwing down some money and saying, my physical copy of Mario Kart World is on that shelf. That's how I'm going to own that. Because I don't want to do the game keycard game. I get it, like, why it's a thing for a hardware point of view, of like, you need to download this in order for it to run properly, because the data transfer is way too big, and it turns out that the game keycard slot is, like, not actually that fast of a transfer rate in order to load stuff into RAM and into memory. So we really do need to get you to download things internally on the SSD, and retail shelf space still matters. But I think that there is value in a physical object that I paid for that you can't take away from me when it's like 50 years from now. And so that is what matters to me the most. If you, as a consumer, are aware of the fact that you are paying for a service and not a product, then by all means, be informed and make your choice. But for me personally, this Switch 2 generation, I am going to probably not buy a single game digitally. I will just be getting everything that I can off of a physical cartridge, mainly because I am painfully aware that this is the last time we will probably ever have a generation with physical media. Like, I really don't think PlayStation 6, Xbox Project Helix, or whatever the fuck a Switch 3 might possibly be, are going to have any form of like a physical injection of media. I think they're all going to be like hard drive storages, solid state storage drive, like whatever it is. It will be mass storage integration internally. There will be no physical media attachment. And so out of a point of nostalgia and just trying to do my best to preserve the things that I love, I'm going to buy everything physically this generation, and I will not compromise on that point. That's just what I'm going to do, because I don't think it's sticking around. And because it's not sticking around, this is being the last time I can do this, and I'm probably going to be here for another 50 years. I'd like to be able to look back at my life and go like, damn, like having that shelf behind me with all my games on it. I don't know if the audience can even see it right now. Like, this really mattered to me as a kid, and it still matters to me now, being able to look back and see all of the experiences that I got to have. And I'd like to be able to do that same thing one more time before I have to put it all away.
Yeah. And I get it from that standpoint. I think the thing with digital, and this is like one thing that I will always advocate for, there needs to be some sort of promise with digital media in general, whether it be games, movies, music. If you buy that product at a full retail price, like a full MSRP, whether it's physically or digitally, there needs to be a promise by these manufacturers and by these corporations that, hey, you bought this. It's no longer because you bought it, no longer just a license. As long as you have proof of purchase, like stays in your digital library, we can't get rid of it. And I feel like if that was a promise that they could make for these digital goods, the world, in a lot of, collectors and people in these spaces would feel so much better about it. Because I can understand the people who want to hold on to these things, like you said, you want to be able to look back in 50 years and say, I had that experience and it's still here with me. And I feel like that's huge for a lot of people to have that experience. But there needs to be, for people to accept this and for people to be okay with it, for there to be that promise that I walked into the store, I purchased this, it's staying on my shelf, it's not going anywhere. I know as long as I'm able to, like, provide that proof of purchase, it's mine, they can't get rid of it. And I feel like if they came out and they said that and they had that promise, which I don't understand why they can't fucking do that. Like, just come out and say it. And people will feel so much, happier about these purchases. My biggest thing with this is the people who are advocating against it, like hardcore against it, and are speaking out and celebrating that, hey, we got this thing canceled, will also be the same people that will tell you, oh yeah, purchasing on PC is okay. PC lives under the same rules. So you can't, it's the have your cake and eat it too situation, I feel like, with these things, where you can't fight for one and be against the other. It's either, all for one, one for all. Like you said, you accepted it, that you sealed your fate on this a long time ago. And I'm with you on that, where I just had a situation where my game case, got stolen. And thankfully I live in a community that is fighting for me to try to get it back. And I should have an update here pretty soon about that. But 7 years ago at this point, I had over 50 games in my Switch cartridge case, and I left it on a train. That was 100% my fault. But because I did that, and because I lost access to those things, where I'm like, this would have been so much easier if I would have just had everything in a digital library, where I could just log in and say it's there. And if my account gets jammed or whatever, I can easily just hit up Nintendo and hey, my email's fucked up right now. Can you close down access to my account until I get this figured out? And they can do things like that. Whereas if I take my games with me because I want to take those things with me, and if it gets stolen or lost, then it's 100% on me, and I just lost all of my money. But I definitely get it from a standpoint where people do want, they want to feel safe, and they want to feel safeguarded knowing that they bought a physical game, that it's theirs, it's 100% theirs, and nobody can take it from them. There just needs to be that digital promise. Hey, you bought this digitally. It's not a subscription service. This is yours. And you have full ownership of that. That's what it needs to be.
Yeah, and I think that's what the spirit of the Stop Killing Games initiative really is at the end of the day. And like, thank God that those guys are actually doing what they're doing and also doing it well from the way that it looks. So like, power to them. Thank you so much, mister. I can't even remember the guy's name. I see his face, but I don't remember his name. For like, you essentially put his life on the line. Like, this is his life's work to like make sure that this happens. But I also know there's somebody in the comments right now screaming GOG, because GOG does exactly that. You download the game, it's yours. There's no DRM. You can move that copy between any device, any operating system that runs the game files or exe or whatever the fuck, and it just goes. And so like, we don't live in a world where that stuff's not possible. We just live in a world where like there's a level of financial protection, I guess, or liabilities towards piracy, where they're deciding, I do not want to be liable towards this thing to a certain extent. And then when service, like the multiplayer and live service games becoming such a big deal, I kind of get it. But I also really miss the world where a game is shutting down, and what we did as developers, so many places did this back in the day, but we stopped doing it because the culture just like changed, or the devs just stopped being allowed to do this kind of thing. I don't know where we went wrong here, but you would like, there were fucking multiplayer MMOs a long time ago that when the end of service happened, those devs just flipped the servers into an open source mode, let people scrape as much of the data as they fucking wanted, and then released the server tools to the world and said, hey, thanks for keeping us alive. We had a ton of fun, but the game is now all on your hands. Like, the community will drive this forward. We are stepping away into next projects. Our company's folding. Like, we could only keep the doors open for so long. Now it's all on you. And that shit happened. Community owned and rented servers were a thing. And like, more and more, that stuff is going away when they really don't have to be. Like, we don't have to live in this world where like anytime I play something, like it has to be through a giant corporation saying yes first. Like, it could just be, I bought product, I downloaded it, and then we had fun together. Like, why are they so intent on controlling every aspect of me accessing the experience rather than just like giving it to everybody? Because like, that's what it used to be. Like, one of my biggest complaints about Battlefield 6, here I am ranting about that shit again. It's like, there's no community-owned rentable servers. That's a huge part of the Battlefield community. That's why those games were so evergreen for so many years, is because they had a rent-a-server program, or they like sold the server software to other companies, and then you'd have places like fucking GameSpot, or I can't remember who it was. There's a couple other server like companies out there that you could like rent space from, but like, that was a huge thing. And now all of that shit is going away. All of it's gone. Like, there's no community-led hosted events. I don't log into the same server every night, see that same son of a bitch with a sniper rifle on top of the mountain on sea, whose name is like fucking Dog Fighter or whatever his name is, and then he'll like shoot my head off every day for like over a year, and I get to know him because that guy's always on the server at 8 p.m. Like, that shit's over. And it shouldn't be. Like, it really shouldn't be, because those are the experiences that kept me coming back. And now it's this hyper engaged, optimized, the devs and the publisher have to say yes at every step before I get in. And I can't think of any other reason other than like the financial incentive to try and get you to like have a controlled experience, and we can control all of the liable aspects of Dogfighter 98, like being a jackass to you or whatever. So I don't know, man, but I really miss that mentality. Like, community is what made those games matter, and that level of like player freedom and ownership needed to be there for those communities to be fostered. And like, I think if you really want these live service titles to work like long term and stop crashing out so fucking hard, then maybe you should like be okay with the service of your game being in the hands of the community as well. Like, what happened to that? And so that's a big part of this, is like, that like those systems need to be there for this to work. And part of that preservationist attitude, like you're going to find fucking Battlefield 1942 servers still running today because there are a group of people that give a fuck about running those things for everyone to play still. And so that's where it makes me difficult to go down the road of all digital. But like your story is like, there's also the incredibly convenient aspect of like, I lost my entire Switch. I can just go get another one and I'll re-download all my stuff. My iPhone got dropped into a toilet. It broke. I backed it up with iCloud for $3. Like those types of fucking situations are just so easy to walk past now because of all of the digital convenience. But we really lose something by having that little bit more ownership in the shit that we buy. Yeah, I kind of went all over the fucking place for a second, but I'm trying to bring it back.
No, I mean, I followed everything that you were saying because I do miss the days of I could just have a wall of, video game cases and for Switch, it's a sea of red because all the fucking
those game spines suck, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
at least
so
they're
happy what
now.
They're doing with the Switch 2 game cases. They look so much better. But even then, they still don't have the logos. I think my favorite game case of all time from Nintendo is the fucking Wii U era. Like by a mile, the 3DS was the best.
Yeah, the 3DS, and the GBA, like that's the days that I miss was all of the old school handhelds. The Switch 2 cases do look a little bit better, but the game keycard cases, that's my biggest drawback from the game keycard case, is you just get that big ass white border at the bottom of it. So it's fucking ugly. I do have a couple of game keycards because, as you guys know, I'm not really a game keycard hater. I think there's benefits to it, but I can also see it from the standpoint of the people who do want a physical game and they do want that ownership of that game to say, I actually want something. Like, this isn't anything. It's just plastic with, a little bit of data on it. So I get it from that standpoint. But the spines of the couple of game keycards that I have, they actually do have a little bit of personality, I will say that. It's not entirely like lost to just a big red ass border, but the physical Switch games that I do have, or I guess that I did have, where I still have the case and I just don't have the game, it's just red. And it sucks.
Yeah. Nintendo, thank God for fixing that. But also, could you have just put the logo on the spine again? Like, why did we do this twice? Like, come on, man. This is the last time that I'm going to have fucking Nintendo cases on a shelf. Like, you could have at least gone out with a bang. Like, make it great. What do we do?
I don't know when we even start talking about a Switch 3. Maybe what year did Switch 2 come out? Maybe we start talking about a Switch 3 when we're at that 7-year mark for Switch 2.
It's going to be like fucking 2033 if history is to go by like the same generational gaps.
Yeah. Which I guess we'll probably start talking about Switch 2 OLED next year. Because there apparently is going to be a revision where you can swap out the battery. That's being regulated by the EU.
Thank you.
So, I think there's hope for Nintendo at least to have some sort of physical presence. Here's one thing I know about Nintendo, and this is from my time at Best Buy. They have probably the biggest pool out of retail space than any other video game company. So more than Sony, more than Microsoft. Retails love Nintendo, and that's why I think this will be around as long as retail stays put. You'll still have some sort of physical presence for Nintendo games, at least for another generation. Depending on how long this will last. We could also be in a situation where we're not looking at an 8-year cycle, we're looking at an 18-year cycle. So we'll see. But I know for a lot of people, for at least like Nintendo first party games and for the third party games that do want to support physical media, you will at least have some sort of retail presence, and that can only bode well for having more games be physically on cartridge. I don't think I think if we lived in a world where those prices could come down, this game keycard situation, we wouldn't even be talking about it right now. But because prices keep going up on everything, we're probably going to be talking about game keycards for a little bit longer.
Yeah, for sure. They're not going anywhere. Like, I see the problem that it solves on the corporate side. Like, I get why they exist. Doesn't mean I have to participate, which I think is the case for many people in my camp. But like, if you want to get key cards, like, dude, go ahead. Like, I can't stop you from doing what you want. I am into freedom. Like, it's your freedom of choice to decide how to spend your money. So I will say, like, I wouldn't do that. But if you want to do it, like, hey, power to you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you know, there's a big section of people who will tell you how to spend your money. Don't be those people. Except for Eden Beaver, with our final question of the evening, is asking, what are some recent game purchases under $40 that we could recommend?
Oh, that's actually a great question, Mr. Beaver. I don't know if you're talking to Beaver, though, so let's see what's really going on here. Under $40? What the fuck have I been playing recently that's awesome under $40? Huh, we gotta ask some good questions. Dude, you know, like, if you got some friends, because me and my fucking fiance have been playing Peak recently, because that game is just fun as hell. I know that game's still pretty cheap. Like, what's it on Steam right now? It's probably even on sale currently because of the winter. It's like fucking $4. Yeah, that is a no-brainer of a video game. If you have a couple of buddies, let me tell you about a little mountain climbing game that is hilarious as fuck. Like, goddamn, man, Peak is great. So that's a solid one, and it's literally $4.95. Another game that I kind of want to shout out because I've been following it for a little while, and I don't know a lot of people that have been talking about it. I really like it because it's kind of a fun, weird physics arcadey game. It's kind of harkening back to these old helicopter shooters of old, but it's called Cleared Hot. It's made by a very small team of Not Knowing Corporation, which is the developer. They are, I think it's a team of like fucking 2 or 3 guys. Like, they kind of just remade a couple of these old like helicopters, like shoot 'em up type games from the 90s. Runs like great on Steam Deck. How much is it on Steam right now? It is $11.99. Fucking great game. It's in early access, just got a Steam Deck update, so it runs at 60 FPS. It's literally just a little twin stick helicopter shooter where you fly around. You can pick shit up with like an air crane hook kind of thing. Swing around this shit and throw it into other stuff. You blow things up. Physics, particle effects go everywhere. Just a small, fun little arcade shooter that is also pretty solid if you're just looking for some fun mayhem.
Hell yeah. Did you play the Mini Shoot Adventures game?
No, I don't think so. That doesn't sound familiar to me.
It's kind of described it as a twin stick shooter in a way. Apparently it's more of like a Zelda-like, where you play as a little helicopter, or not a helicopter, a little like spaceship. You just got to look it up. I'm doing a terrible way of describing this game right now, but you play as like a little spaceship, and it's a Zelda-style adventure where you basically shoot your enemies and just go through the world, like kind of like Zelda 2, or not Zelda 2, Link's Awakening style gameplay. Yeah,
you're gonna have to send it over to me. I need to look this up.
Yeah, I'll send that when we get off here tonight, because it's a very interesting game. I have not played it yet. I've watched some people play it, and it's one that I would definitely like to play eventually, but too many cooks in the kitchen. So yeah,
Always.
Beaver, check that one out, because apparently there's a lot of juice to that game, and if you like Zelda Link's Awakening, you'll probably like that. But
I have one more game that I must shout out. I think the whole world is going to know what I'm going to say, though. Helldivers 2 is on sale for 25% off right now on your local Steam retailer. It's $30 for the best 4-player co-op shooter of all time is available to you. If you want to feel like a fucking fascist blowing up the other places, my friend, it is the most insane ride of any video game I've played in the last couple of years. I actually can't believe how consistently I've continued to play Helldivers 2 since February 8th of 2024. Holy fuck, that game is so much fun. So like for $30, like under $40, yeah, man, you gotta pick that up. I'm a little bit showing my bias because I'm just kind of talking about shooters a lot, but Helldivers 2 is one hell of an experience, and you should totally play it for $30. Like, damn, man, it's a great game.
I want to throw a shooter in there. Deadzone Rogue on sale right now.
Yeah,
for
purchase myself
25%
today.
off. It's a fantastic shooter. If you like roguelites, if you like multiplayer, definitely give that one a shot. Other games under $40, you can't go wrong with Pokemon Fire Red if you already own that game or if you have an emulator. But if you really want to spend under $40, you can't really go wrong with that one. One of the best Pokemon games ever created, in my personal opinion. What else?
Yeah, dude, trying to think of solid under $40 titles. Genuinely, there's like hundreds upon hundreds of games at this point that you could recommend that are under $40 and are like bangers, like best of all time video games. Because, all right, so this is one fun topic that I think we can close on. So many people like to make the argument of like, we are in the worst time for video gaming ever. All of these live service titles suck. They come out, they crash, they get destroyed. But I look at this with the other side of the perspective of like, this is the greatest video game timing ever, because all of video game history is behind you. And the majority of video gaming history is amazing. Like,
I agree.
Amazing stuff. So like under $40 now, if you can find it digitally, hell, you can even emulate it. Dude, like, it's an unbelievable amount of content that is just back there waiting for you to fucking get discovered on it. And you could play this for hundreds of hours worth of content, thousands of hours worth of content, tens of thousands of hours worth of stuff to do. So like, it's impossible. Like, the question of like, what $40 video games can you shout out right now? It's like, dude, it's like endless. It's fucking endless. Like, what do you want to play? Because like, there's literally everything behind you.
I got a couple more that I want to shout out because I agree with you. I think this is, I think 2026, depending on where you're at, what console you own.
Best time
if you
ever.
are on PC, like, we've already had so many bangers this year, and 40 like games under $40 that I know that I've purchased and have maybe played, if not a lot, a little bit. I got Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, currently on sale for $23.99 on Switch and Xbox. Tales of Berseria Remastered. I don't know if it's on sale or not, but it's under $40 right now. You got Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection coming out later this week.
Oh yeah.
And if you have not played those, oh man, the Star Force games, some of my favorite Mega Man games. A lot of people didn't really get into them because they got out of Mega Man after like Mega Man X, but Battle Network, Star Force, like, for them to switch up the formula and go in this RPG route for the Game Boy and DS era, those are top tier Mega Man games that you can play. Kenna Bridge of Spirits for all of those. Good one. Yeah, have you played it?
I played the first one a little bit. I kind of fell out of it because I think there was some other stuff releasing at that time. But like, yeah, dude, I remember when those guys released that Majora's Mask like 3D like trailer that they made, and then they were like, oh yeah, we're making a video game. I'm like, you guys are making a video game? This is gonna be sick as fuck. And so I picked it up, and I really regret not going back because they're even getting a sequel, and that game's art style looks even better than the first one did. So yeah, that's a cool little piece that they've got going on there. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's currently on sale on Switch too for $31.99. Comes out this Thursday as well. Also another awesome game of 2026 if you are only on Nintendo platforms. Definitely one that I would recommend people check out. And of course, tonight's Mayhem game, Deadzone Rogue. I'm not gonna, stop talking about that game. It's a great time for people who like the shooter genre, who want something a little bit different that's not PvP, but player versus the environment. and you just go on these runs and try to get to level 30 and see if you can make it. So far, I've gotten to level 20 with a team, and I've gotten to level 21. No, I've reversed that. I've gotten to level 21 with a team and level 20 solo. So if you can make it past that and keep going, kudos. Yeah, it's a great time. And it's under $20.
Oh, I got another one that I got to shout out because it's been staring me in the face, and I really need to talk about this game just a little bit because this is another game I have to go back to, but fucking Hades 2. This is my final recommendation. This game is fucking $22.49 right now. The game that broke roguelites into the main fucking stay series. Like, I bet you that Hades 1 is even cheaper than that. Yeah, Hades 1 is $6. Like, that game is a generational video game for a genre, so you should absolutely fucking play Hades 1.
Yeah, do yourself that solid. Just go do it.
Do it.
Another one, if you like Mario style platformers, Bakaru on Steam and on the Switch is under $30 right now. Give that one a check out because that is, one, it's a hilarious game. Two, it's very fun for a platformer. It just has all those makings of like that old school like GameCube era platformer like made into the modern era, and it's such a good time.
I got one more. This is my last one, and I will shut the fuck up after this. Titanfall 2 is on sale for $3.
Oh, you could, buy
$3,
and then you could buy, your homies copies of that as well.
Yeah, dude, that is so cheap. I actually think that game is blowing up on Steam right now because the sales are so low. Same thing with fucking Modern Warfare 2019, which I will have a video on this shit not too long from now. But yeah, Titanfall 2 is $3. Another generational game for $3. Like, you can't even buy McDonald's for that fucking cheap, and you could get the experience of a lifetime.
You really can't.
$3. So, like, what are you waiting on, man? That is an amazing game.
Nier Automata.
That's another good one. Oh my god, yeah, that's $15, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna shout that one out, but I was gonna leave it alone.
No,
just because I thought my list was gonna get too long.
We got like 4 more minutes. We could keep going. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna like. Oh wait, no, I do have another one. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. If you like Dragon Ball, you gotta give Kakarot a go. Kakarot is consistently always under $40. It's one of the best Dragon Ball Z games I think that's out there. If you don't care about multiplayer, if you just want a single player experience, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is your game.
I gotta go back to that one, dude. Oh my god, I can't believe I haven't fucking played through Kakarot. That's been the way that I've been wanting to relive my Dragon Ball childhood. Like,
is by playing Kakarot.
Yeah, I was going to go through that because rather than watch the main series again. Because I don't know, I just kind of got to a point where I've attempted to watch through the main series too many times and I've fallen off of it. But I think if I do it in video game form, I'll get kind of sucked in more. So I've been like waiting for the right moment. Which is just, once again, my backlog is too fucking huge. I say this about every video game on the show, man. Like, every time. It's got to be a running joke. Somebody in the comments someday is going to go, this is the tally of all the times that Zach has said there's too many video games, my backlog is too big, I don't get to play this, blah, blah, blah. Like, how many times have I said that excuse? I'm saying it again because, god damn it, but that's a game that I've been meaning to play for forever, and I've only heard good things about it.
Yeah, it's a great time, and it's got so many DLC expansions at this point.
Oh, it's good. Yeah,
that game can live on. Like, you could get hundreds of hours in that game and not get bored.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. And there's also fucking Sparkling Zero. Yeah, that one's at $34.99. Like, damn, man, the fucking spring sale is going hard right now. Let me tell you, this is nuts.
Yeah, how much is Monster Hunter Wilds right now?
That's a good question. I'm gonna look. That game I definitely can't purchase. I think I've decided on the Monster Hunter Wilds fiasco, I'm just going to wait till the DLC drops, and then I might find that to be my entrance into the game.
Yeah.
It is currently $70, so they did not put it on a sale, which is actually kind of surprising because I'm pretty sure I saw this game on sale about like a couple weeks back for like $34. So this would have been the next big moment for them to do it. It's kind of weird they didn't do it.
Yeah, it's about to get that second life with that DLC pretty soon, though.
Yeah, I think when the DLC gets introduced, they'll be shaking up a lot of gameplay systems. And then that'll be the right time to go in because I remember they did it a little bit with Monster Hunter Worlds when Iceborne came out, and it was just enough of a shakeup that it was really fun to jump back in and like start a brand new run. But I don't know, dude, Monster Hunter Wilds, there's like its performance issues, plus they made the game a little bit too easy for a longtime fan, so I'm kind of like cautiously waiting to see if they make any overhauls or like do a new difficulty mode and add in some more friction, because I really like that prep work, dude. Like Monster Hunter, it hits the best when you've been prepping for a while and then you go to that fight and then it's as challenging as it should have been. Like that's just part of the fun for me. Yeah,
there needs to be a little bit, and I know I've always been kind of a person who's complained about Monster Hunter difficulty before Rise, which is why I didn't play a lot of them before that game came out. But there's some fun in it being a little bit more difficult than just having a couple of hits on a monster and being done with it at that point. Like, it has to have some staying power. If it's too easy, then a lot of people say this is just way too easy and jump off really quick. And I think I don't want it to be too easy, which is why I'm really liking Stories 3, because even though it's a completely different take on Monster Hunter, this game is very challenging.
Yeah, that game, not to go super deep into it, it's really interesting to hear how many people are talking about Stories 3 as it's like this perfect shoulder to shoulder like franchise rather than a spin-off series. Like when you talk about Pokemon spin-off series, like Pokopia is really cool, but we know that this is probably going to be the only entry. Like they might make a sequel based off of how popular this is, but with Pokemon spin-offs, you kind of get your spin-off of the moment and then they just move on to the next thing. But like people are talking about Stories like this is going to be here for a long time and it deserves to be like a sister series rather than like a cousin, niece, little brother thing that we're just going to do once and then shove them in the corner and we'll never talk to that guy again. Rather than like, this is an equal. Like we will be doing these two for a long time. And so that's really cool to hear that that's the way people are like talking about it, because every time I look into Stories 3, I'm just kind of like in awe by the production values that are going on. And like I haven't been interested in it, but every time I look at it, I do get a little bit more interested. And like maybe I should try to find room to like play this somewhere because it looks fun. Like it does look fun.
I think it's a great time. I'm fucking loving it. McDonald's reference. But you know, it's one of those games where it's a massive time sink. So I'm already 80 hours in. I have not even gotten close to the climax of the story yet. And that's just because of how many systems are in this game where you can restore monster habitats. So basically, it works kind of like the Pokemon breeding system works, where you can make new types and new mutations. And I'm like, I want to do that and then get to the end game so I can just beast mode this thing by the end and just have this massive dragon party of like all these elder gods and go about it that way. So I'm kind of doing the story part of it, and I love the story because all the main characters have their own side quests, which let you know like more about their character and like things that they love, and it really gets you into all these like side characters. And I'm just like, man, y'all are so cool. This is like the perfect like RPG. It's my front runner for Game of the Year so far.
Damn, that speaks pretty highly.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's a damn good game, man. It's the reason why Stories 2 was in my top 10 for the decade.
It's wild. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
You know?
Well, all right then. Fucking Monster Hunter 3. Stories 3, huh?
Yep. If you got, Eden Beaver, if you got $70, go pick this one up. Just forget everything else we said. Just grab Stories 3. But no, we gave you some good options for under $40. Spend your money wisely. And speaking of spending things wisely, it's about that time. Zach, tell the good folks at home where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys can catch me here every Monday night. You can also check me out at Zach Fisher TV, where I will be doing weekly video uploads of whatever the fuck I'm curious about. You can also check me out at ZF5150 on Twitter for all my shitty gaming takes, or just the randomness of me trying to interact with whatever the fucking gaming community is considered at this point. There's just way too many people out there talking about way too many things. And then lastly, also at ZF5150 on itch.io, I made a video game, and you can go play the Vertical Slice for completely free. It's just a vertical slice. I spent a long time on it. I just want people to play it, have a good time, and let me know what you think.
Yeah, that's a perfect game for Eden Beaver to play under $40.
It's free, baby.
Yeah.
It's free.
And for everybody else looking for games under 40, like Zach said, it's free. Just go do it. All right, well, we're getting out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's edition of Monday Night Mayhem. We'll be back next Monday. We'll all be back hopefully next Monday as well. Got some cool shorts coming out later this week. And of course, we'll be back for Boss Battle Fridays this week as well. Until then, folks, remember to brush your teeth, eat your vegetables, stay safe out there, tip your strippers and DoorDash drivers. And we'll catch y'all in next week's episode. Peace.